The Mass Effect series is one of my favorite video game series of all time, and when I found out it was getting re-released, I immediately bought it since I sold my original games years ago. I played through each of the games multiple times and enjoy each one, and contrary to popular opinion, I even like Mass Effect Andromeda. After completing the Legendary Edition, I felt it was time to share my opinion on the characters, but this video is going to be something different. Today, I'm going to rank each of the Squadmates for each game by their usefulness, only taking into account their powers, weapons, and availability in each game. Also keep in mind that each game is going to be ranked separately since abilities and availability are different for each squadmate. I'm also not going to be ranking the DLC characters like Liara and Lara the Shadow Broker in Mass Effect 2, and Arya and Omega in Mass Effect 3 since you were forced to use them. Now that that's all cleared up, let's do this. Alright, we'll start with Mass Effect 1. So Ashley, I have to put Ashley in F tier, sorry everyone. The reason I put her in F tier is because basically all her powers are gun powers. She doesn't have any active skills, like she doesn't have any tech, she doesn't have any biotics. Her only good thing is basically she can survive a lot because she has armor and combat training, but again, like powers are kind of what make the Mass Effect trilogy. So the fact that she doesn't have anything besides the gun powers just makes her, I consider her to be the worst character. Next is Garrus. Garrus I actually have to put an A. And the reason he's on S is just because Tali's exist, because Tali is the best character. But Garrus is A because he has electronics, he has dampening, and he has decryption. And as if you've played Mass Effect 1, you know that electronics and decryption is basically how you get new items because it lets you unlock everything. And dampening lets you turn off the enemies using their powers. Like he has gun powers too, which aren't really that useful. But since he has armor and assault training, his damage output's pretty good, and he has decent survivability. Kaidan, I have to put in probably. Actually, I'm gonna rank Kaidan higher than Garrus because he has. Actually, no, I'm gonna rank him lower because he doesn't have both electronics and decryption. He has biotic powers, and biotic powers are okay, just tech powers are better, and his tech powers aren't really that good. Like his unique thing is he has neural shock, which is fine, but because Mass Effect 1 has so many synthetic enemies, I'd say probably 3/4 of at least of enemies in the game are synthetic, that neural shock's not really that useful. Like it helps when you're fighting the Krogan, but other than that, it's just not as good. Liara, I'm gonna put Liara top of B tier. Yeah, there we go. Because she's all biotics. She has all the biotic powers, and biotic powers are okay. Just tech powers are better. But she has singularity, she has throw, and she has lift. And those are pretty good powers because they stall. I personally don't like stasis because stasis you can't do damage to the enemies. So if you cast, so stasis is only good for buying time if you're getting swarmed. But I'd rather just use throw or pull or lift or singularity to stall. And Liara doesn't have any weapons training because you pretty much just use her for biotic powers. But I think it's just because she has 3 different powers that can buy you time is probably what makes her pretty good. But again, just tech powers are better. And you heard me mention it before, but Tali is S tier. Tali is the best squad mate in Mass Effect 1. And one is because she has all the tech powers. She has electronics, she has decryption, she has damping, and she has AI hacking. And I cannot stress how useful AI hacking is. Like because if her AI hacking is max, she can hack the Geth Prime, she can hack the Geth Colossuses, she can even hack the Geth Juggernauts, and it is so useful, especially when you're on Ilos and you have to fight I think 3 or 4 Geth Primes at once. Plus, she has really good survivability too, because one of her abilities gives her extra shielding, and she does she does use shotguns, so she has Carnage, and Carnage is okay, but like again, it's most the reason I just rank her S is just because she has AI hacking. That's what makes her better than Garrus, because that's what Garrus doesn't have. But like I said, with electronics and decryption, like if you have her in your squad, you don't need anyone else with tech powers because she can just unlock everything. But yeah. And Rex. Rex, he's like Ashley but better. I think I don't think he's better than Liara. The like again, he's a mix between Ashley and Liara. So he's like Ashley, as in he has really good survivability because he has immunity. He has, I think, shield boost. He regenerates health really fast, and he does a lot of damage. But he also has throw. He has warp. So he's good he's good for some fights. I don't find him the most useful for everything. But I guess like the reason he's better than Liara in the fact that he has good survivability, but Liara's better just because she has three powers that buy you time, and Rex only has one. But I think he's better than Caden just because Caden's more suited toward organic enemies than synthetic enemies. So anyway, that's what it is for Mass Effect 1. So now we'll go to Mass Effect 2. All right, so Mass Effect 2. We'll start with Jack. Jack, I probably have to put in C tier. And she's in C tier is because, well, she's kind of squishy. Her powers aren't really that good either. She has, Pole, Shockwave, and her loyalty power is Warp Ammo. But ammo powers aren't really that useful because, like, pretty much for anyone's ammo power, you can set it so everyone has it. Like, you can either have incendiary or cryo ammo, and so I don't consider warp ammo that good. Shockwave is short range, and you need long range stuff. And Pole's only useful when if you're able to use on multiple enemies. But also the thing about Mass Effect 2 is a lot of powers that are supposed to affect people, they only work once shields, barriers, and armor are down, and you're just hitting their normal health bar. If you aren't, it makes it so powers become less useful, and Pull is one of those powers. Like you can only lift enemies if they're on their red health bar, and if you're playing on Insanity, then Pull doesn't do anything. So, and looking at Grunt I actually have to put in A tier, and he's an A tier because one, he has really good survival, seeing as one of his passive abilities makes it so he regenerates his health faster. He has concussive shot, which is always a useful ability, and he has incendiary ammo, and I consider incendiary ammo the best ammo power in the game. Plus, also, Grunt you can get on your first mission, so because you get him early game, and he's useful throughout the entire game, I consider him A tier. Jacob, I really want to put Jacob in D tier. Like, pretty much the only redeemable thing about him is he's available at the start. But you will swap him out once you get other characters, because pretty much Jacob's abilities suck. He has barrier, he has incendiary ammo, and he has pole. So basically, he doesn't really have any offensive powers that do damage. Because when I talked about Jack, I talked about pole. Barrier just makes it so he has better survivability, but Grunt just has better survivability than Jacob to begin with. He's not better than Jack, but yeah, I guess I'll put him in C tier for now. No, actually, I'm gonna put him in D tier. I think he's worse than Jack because pretty much when I play the game, I never use Jacob except at the beginning, just because you have to. Kasumi, I'm gonna put in D tier also, but she's better than Jacob. She has Overload, which is pretty good, and she has Shadow Strike, which does a lot of damage. but she is so squishy. She dies so fast in the game. Like when I was trying to do her loyalty mission, where it's just her, I pretty much had to solo the entire mission because she'll just run out and get shot and to pieces. And because she's using Shadow Strike, she has to get up close to the enemy. So while she's attacking them, she'll just get shot and riddled with bullets. So she may be a fun character, but I'm not ranking these characters based on their personalities. I'm ranking them on their usefulness in the game, just as squadmates. Legion, yeah, unfortunately Legion I'm gonna put in D tier also, and one because none of his abilities are any good. All three of his abilities suck. So actually in that case I'm gonna actually put him in D, because the thing that made Jacob not the worst is that he's available at the beginning. If you want to have everyone survive, you have to kind of recruit Legion at the end of the game, like pretty much 1 or 2 missions before the final mission, and so you don't get that much time to use him. Also, his 3 abilities aren't useful at all. He has AI hacking, which doesn't work on mechs unless they're on their red health bar, and even then it only lasts like 5 seconds. He has Geth's shield boost, which is like barrier, but for specifically him. And he has combat drone, and unless you're playing as engineer, combat drone is not useful at all, because you'll have to have your squad mate manually keep recasting it. And because of how cooldowns work in Mass Effect 2, once you use one power, you have to wait for a cooldown before you can use any other power. Unlike Mass Effect 1, where you can just keep using, like, you could use 5 different powers in 2 seconds. Miranda's S tier. She's probably the best squad mate in Mass Effect 2, by far. And the reason for this is, A, she's available at the start. Like, she's the other squad mate you get after the first mission. B, she has Warp and Overload, which are 2 abilities that are always useful in the game. Like, no matter what point you're at, like beginning, middle, and end. Warp and Overload just kind of are just pretty much all you need. Plus, her passive ability boosts your squad mates' damage and or powers. And she's the only one that has this. So, if you're ever like stuck on a mission that's too difficult, you need to take Miranda, because she has 2 useful abilities, but B, she boosts your damage. Mordin, I'm gonna say Mordin's A rank. He's not better than Grunt because his weapons kind of aren't that good. He has pistols and he has submachine guns, but he has Cryoblast, he has Neural Shock, and he has Incinerate, which are, again, 3 useful abilities, especially Incinerate, because it's like Warp, but it works on armor, and it works on pretty much Incinerate just works on everything. Plus, since he's probably going to be one of the first squad mates you get, like after the first mission, you'll probably end up using Mordin a bit. I didn't find him to be that squishy, so he survives okay, like not great, but yeah, actually I'm gonna put him in B tier. I don't think he's as good as Grunt, but he's definitely better than Jack. Morinth is I'm gonna put Morinth in C. She's in C just because I highly doubt anyone actually picks Morinth on their first playthrough. Her abilities are pretty much the exact same as Samara's, except she has Dominate instead of Reave. And Dominate is like AI hacking, but for organic beings. But again, it only works if they're on their red health bar. So, and plus you can only get access to Morinth pretty late in the game. So actually in that case, I'm going to put her in D, because I forgot you only get her after you do Samara's loyalty mission, and Samara you only get in the second half of the game. And Garrus. Garrus, what does Garrus have? He has concussive shot, he has overload, he has it's armor piercing ammo. I think he's better than Mordin because he has assault rifles and he has sniper rifles. and plus because he has overload and concussive shot, which are again two pretty good abilities. And plus you can get him at the start. Well, you can get him like in the first half of the game. His recruitment mission is a little difficult because you're just starting out. So he's probably not going to be the first squad mate you get. Unlike Grunt, where Grunt's mission isn't hard at all. So you can just get him at the beginning. So to me, Garrus, he's between Grunt and Morden. Like Grunt's better just because his recruitment mission is easier. But Garrus's mission is kind of difficult. But Garrus is a better squad mate than Morden. Samara's. I'm gonna put Samara in C. She kind of sucks. Jack is better than Samara because Samara you can only get in the second half of the game. Her powers are basically the same as Morinth's, except for she has Reeve instead of Dominate. And Reeve basically just like takes away your opponent's health and like gives it back to you as shields or something. I don't know. I personally never used it. I probably only used Samara for maybe like 2 missions at most, just because I didn't find her that useful, to be honest. I think she has throw and she has pull, and so and those aren't pulls like not really that useful. Like perhaps the only good thing about pull is you can upgrade it so it hits 2 enemies, but even then it's not great. Throw is like pull. It works better if your opponents don't have like armor or shields. Tali. Tali, unfortunately, I think is D tier. Like, which is weird because I know I said she was the best character in the game, in the first game, but her abilities are a complete downgrade in Mass Effect 2. I guess I'm gonna put her at the top of the tier. I think she's better than Kasumi. No, actually, Kasumi you can get at the beginning. Yeah, okay. I think Kasumi's better because Tali's abilities, like they just suck. Honestly, like she has energy drain, which is like overload, but it gives her shields back, which I guess is okay. She has combat drone, but her drone dies so fast it's not useful at all. And she has AI hacking, which I never use because A, it only lasts 9 seconds at max level, and B, because again the shield and armor problem. Unless you're fighting a mech enemy and they're on their red health bar, like AI hacking is not going to do shit. So, Tali, you may be my favorite character, but I think you are probably one of the worst characters. Thane. What does Thane have? I know he has throw. I think he has. Oh no, I think he has warp. Thane, I'm gonna put in B tier. I don't think he's better than Morden because you get him in the second half of the game. I think he has. I know he has sniper rifles. I think he has like. I think it's. I forget. It's either pistols or submachine. I forget what his second weapon is. It might be assault rifles. I know he has throw, which it buys you a little time, but it's not that great. And I think he has warp ammo too. But yeah, Thane's pretty forgettable as a squad mate. I didn't really prefer him compared to like these people up here. So Zaid's okay. He has Inferno Grenade. Which is situationally useful. He has concussive shot, and what's his other ability? It's like disruptor ammo. Which disruptor ammo is not great. Yeah, I'm gonna put him in B tier. He's like you can get him at pretty much near the start of the game if you have the DLC. Concussive shots is pretty useful. Disruptor ammo is okay, I guess. Like I prefer incendiary ammo, but I guess disruptor ammo does increase damage against shields and mechs, but it does decrease damage against organics. And in the beginning of the game, you're fighting a lot of organics, So that's why I just prefer incendiary ammo in general. So like that's why if I start with grunt, then I get his incendiary ammo to max, and I just do the thing where it gives everyone this power at like 50% effectiveness, but it's still pretty useful. Unless you're playing a Shepherd character who has an ammo power, so then you should just do that instead. Like when I was playing in Vanguard, I gave myself incendiary ammo and gave everyone else cryo ammo just because it comboed with how Vanguard plays. But I personally don't use disruptor ammo. So let's see. Miranda's definitely best. Grunt's, yeah, I consider Grunt pretty good. Garrus is fine. Jack is fine. Actually, I'm gonna actually put Kasumi in C rank. She's not better than Samara because Samara has better survivability, but I don't think she belongs in D with these people. So that's my list for Mass Effect 2. So now on to Mass Effect 3. So we'll start with Ashley. Ashley, I think she's either A or B rank. Like she's really pretty good because she has disruptor ammo, and in Mass Effect 3, disruptor ammo is super useful because the Atlases and the Banshees, they have shield and barrier armor, so that's what disruptor ammo is good for. And what's her other ability? She has the adrenaline boost or whatever it's called, or I forget. She has some useless ability that I hate, and then she has concussive shot. I'm gonna put her in B rank. I don't think she's A rank, but because you don't really get her at the beginning. You get her maybe like halfway through the game. A, assuming you kept her alive, and B, you didn't kill her during the Citadel mission. But yeah, I think B is a pretty good choice, solid choice. Edie. Edie's okay. Like her main issue with Edie is she's really squishy, but she has Incinerate and she has Overload, which I think are two really good abilities. Her decoy ability is just crap, but because she has two abilities, and because of how Mass Effect 3 works with combo detonations, like both these are pretty useful. But I think her being squishy pretty hurts her. So I guess so. I'll put her in A, but I think she'll probably be at the bottom of A because I don't know. Like to me, squishiness is pretty important because else you have to keep using your metagel to revive your dead squad mates, or you have to actually go and manually revive them. Garrus, I don't think is as good in this game, because his ability for armor piercing ammo just isn't as useful as disruptor ammo and incinerary ammo. He has concussive shot, which can be a detonator, but he doesn't have any primers. So like incinerate or warp. And he has his tech mine. I think is a pretty useless ability. You get him in the second mission. So I guess I'm actually gonna rank him lower than Ashley, because I don't like pretty much, to me his only good ability is concussive shot, and I don't think he has Overload. He might. Let me check. Yeah. Okay, so he has Overload. Yeah, I guess because since he has Overload, that actually makes him better than Ashley. Next is Vega. I think Vega is an A rank character. I know he's pretty bland, but in terms of the game, he's probably one of the more useful companions. Just people probably don't take him because his character's really boring. But because he has incendiary ammo, which even though maybe a lot of enemies have shields and barriers, incendiary ammo can be a primer. He has Carnage, which is a detonator. He has fortification, so his survivability is really high, and his weapons are pretty good too. Plus, you get him at the start of the game. So I think to me, he's not an S rank. He's not an S rank character. There's only one S rank, but I think he's probably belongs top of A rank. Javik. Yeah, sorry, Javik kind of sucks. I'm gonna rank him probably C or D tier. I personally don't like Javik. Actually, no. I guess he can be somewhat useful. To me, he's not the worst. So yeah, I'm gonna put him in C tier. But because his only real ability that's useful is his Dark Channel, and that's only good as a primer. But and other than that, like I don't really remember just using him that much, just because he only has one ability as a primer. Like his slam can't be a detonator. He has pull, but like if you wanted pull, like Liara is better for that because she has singularity, and pull is only good for stalling, or if you're getting swarmed by husks. But singularity is just a better version of pull because singularity also does damage and it's an area effect. And then there's pretty much not much else I can say about him. Caden, what does Caden have? He has Reeve, which I guess Reeve is like energy drain, but for organics, which actually makes that pretty useful. I forget what Caden's abilities are. Overload, Cryoblast. I'm gonna say Caden I think is worse than Ashley. Yeah, because he has Overload and he has Cryoblast and he has Barrier, so he has okay survivability, but you get him around the same time. You get him at the exact same time if you chose him over Ashley, which is at the end of this Citadel mission. So that's about halfway through the game. I guess Cryoblast is kind of only useful for husks because the Marauders always have shields. You could use it on the cannibals, I guess, but I don't know. I don't really find ice powers that useful in Mass Effect. I guess you could use it as a detonator, but I personally don't really take. I personally prefer Ashley to Caden. Partly, I think because just Ashley's abilities are more useful in the third game. Like if it was the first game, Caden is a much better character than Ashley, but because it's the third game, I think Ashley is a bit better. So I'm actually gonna put Caden in C. Yeah, I think he's better than Javik though. Yeah, and then last is Tali. Oh, actually no, there's Liara, and I think because I mentioned how useful Singularity is, I think Liara is the only S tier character for Mass Effect 3, because you get her like the second not even the second, you get her like the first mission in the game, not counting the tutorial. She has Warp, she has Singularity, her passive boosts her biotic abilities. Stasis is better now because you can boost it so it does damage instead of just holding one enemy in place. Now that you use it, because you could just pop Singularity every time. And Warp ammo doesn't really matter that much because as long as you have one ammo power, like Ash has Disruptor ammo and James has Incendiary ammo. You don't really need to put points into Warp ammo. So, but I think she's S tier because you get her super early and just how useful Singularity is. And then last is Tali, and yeah, to me, unfortunately, Tali is the worst character in Mass Effect 3 to have as a squad mate. Like, I get her personality is fun, and she is my favorite character, but her abilities just suck. Because Mass Effect 3, she has no primers, she has no detonators, and you get her like pretty much near the end, like maybe 2/3 way through the game, and it's, like her ability Sabotage is only useful against like synthetic enemies, and I guess you could use it against turrets, but like you have to drain the shield of the turrets first, and when you already got their shields down, it's better just to kill them. You only fight Geth for like the Quarian Geth War missions, and I found Sabotage to be completely useless. Like the only ability that I somewhat used on Tali was Energy Drain, because it's like Overload but worse. But when you're in that fight with the 3 Geth Primes, Tali would just get shot down immediately, and none of her abilities do anything. Her combat drone kind of sucks. Her defense drone sucks because they all like just die in one hit. And so yeah, so in my opinion, Tali is the worst character for Mass Effect 3 as a squad mate. But yeah, this is my tier list. I'm not going to rank the Mass Effect Andromeda squad mates because Andromeda takes away the ability to cast your squad mates' powers. They all feel pretty much the same. But with that, we're done. That's what I think about each of the squad mates for each of the Mass Effect games. But keep in mind, this is only my opinion. If you disagree with my analysis, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you all next time.